Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Deus Vult Podcast.
Deus Vult.
And I bet you're wondering, who the heck are you guys? Well, who we are young Christian men who love God, but also who love video games. One of us here right now isn't so young.
No, I still love video games. I was playing one right before we started.
So welcome to our podcast. I bet you're wondering, what is exactly Deus Vult? And what's the meaning behind Deus Vult? What does it really mean, those words? And how did this group came to be? Well, the meaning, Zane, do you want to share the meaning since you are always the one who explains it?
Also, he says Deus Vult the best out of all of us.
Deus Vult, I mean God wills, or like God's will, something like that in Latin. And it was used as a war cry for the first Crusaders, I believe. It kind of started off as, what was it, a bunch of knights in Italy?
I think so. And
I think so, yeah.
it's kind of a joke between themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they started saying it, and eventually, when they were going into battle against the Saracens, they shouted it, and the entire Crusader army took up the same cry and became synonymous with the Crusaders as their war cry.
Cool.
In kind of the same way with all the Deus Vult memes that were going on, probably a year, 2 years ago or something like that. I started saying it just as a joke, and it picked up, and before we knew it, we had a whole group of guys saying it, and we decided to name our Bible study Deus Vult.
Yes. It's been history ever since. It's been great. So this group came to be as just Christian brothers who are close friends or friends that know friends, and it's a small group that we just do in someone's home, and it just has built from there.
It started out actually as two fathers. So me being one of them. Two of our members, this other father approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a Bible study, father-son Bible study with me and my son, and you and your son, since they were best friends?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds good." And we figured out, Fridays were probably the best because we're getting old, and we're supposed to be still dating our wives, and we do, just not consistently. So Fridays work good. Anyway, so then he has one boy, I have three, and started. I don't know. One of the others was like, "Hey, you mind if I come?" And I was like, "I don't know. I've got to talk to the other dad," because it was kind of just his son and my youngest, and my wife was like, "You better let him in." It's like, okay.
It's like, okay, then I might as well go and do it.
May I input something? When it becomes between you, Dad, and Mom, I actually am a little bit more scared of Mom than you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Also, she was a little harder on the spanking spoon growing up. So
she's it's because when she spanks, it stings. When I spank you, it's just like.
Well, here's the thing: whenever Mom's like, "Your dad's gonna spank you when he gets home," I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness." I was like, "Oh, okay, Mom's gonna go to grab the spanking spoon and smack me to kingdom come,"
It's a good thing you guys are all adults by now, because if this ever gets out, then Child Protective Services will be coming by.
No. I needed to get spanked. Honestly, I needed it because I was really ornery and I did stupid things. But
yeah. I think people still need it.
So, so you don't think I beat him enough as they were growing up? Is that what you're saying?
No.
A good friend of Weston's is like, "Hey, that sounds like fun. Can I come?" And I said, "Sure." So, but then I thought, "Oh, okay. Well, I better run it past this other guy." He's like, "Yeah, sure, another one." And then Zane started coming, and then, well, of course, Zach, you started coming, and it just grew and grew and grew, and it was like God just said, "Okay, this is obviously a hole that needs to be filled," and it went from there. And at first, it started out just father-son Bible study. Then it was young men's, Bible study and leadership group, but that's obviously an old man's name for it.
Right.
So then, Deus Vult came in, and I thought, man, that's a heck of a lot more catchy than.
Yeah, and may I add
Right.
something actually to that? So, see, Death's Vault started coming around more and more because Zane would say it jokingly, and then Ben would actually, he would actually. We have a lot of Bens, by the way. So
We
if
do.
you get confused,
It's the Benz.
yeah, we've got like 3 Bens in the Death's Vault group, by the way. So I'm not gonna use their last names. You're just gonna have to guess to see which one I'm talking about. But anyways, I just remember, Ben would come in and he'd say Death's Vault when Zane would say Death's Vault, and that's where it started picking up because everyone would just start screaming Death's Vault, and
Yep.
that's where the name came out. Because we're like, hey, what should the name be? Like you said before, and I just remember everyone at once was like, what do we always say whenever we come to this group? Oh yeah, Death's Vault. But anyways, that's how it honestly started with
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, and Ben brought a lot of lively. He is an away night. He had to move.
Yeah.
But man, he brought a lot of liveliness. So like one of the funniest Bible studies at the beginning when he
We
first
can
started coming,
Yeah.
he's like he has a Bible app on his phone. And he's like, I'm gonna find the weirdest version of the Bible that I can actually read that's not a foreign language. And we're sitting around, and he doesn't give us any warning, right? So we're reading the verses, and what we do is we usually take a chapter and we divide it out, by however many people are there, and you read 3, 4, 5 verses. It comes to him, and he starts going, "We bros, we tight with that Jesus guy," and we're like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's in good with the big dad or something like that." It's Hawaiian pidgin English.
Yes.
Amazing, by the way. Amazing.
It was hilarious.
It's great.
Like, dude, he actually told me like, hey, I'm gonna read this, and I got a preview of what he was gonna read before to the group, and I was like, dude, do it. It's interesting how Hawaiian Pigeon actually takes a look at the Bible, the way they translate it. But hey, if it gets to them that way, man, I'm all for it.
Exactly. If they understand it in that very, very, very broken English, go for it.
If they tight with that Jesus guy, I'm good for it, man.
But yeah, like we'll definitely try to get Ben on here for an episode or more than that. So that'd be very fun.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
There we
he
go.
has so much energy. But yeah, so the group, how many people are in DS Vault now with our group?
Oh man,
13, maybe
14, something like that.
something like that.
Okay, so yeah, so we're small but still growing, and honestly, it's great when everyone can show up.
to be honest,
It's
we
very
seem to
fun.
be gaining new members like every year, though. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're like up to 14 people now.
Yeah.
the living room's getting a little packed, not gonna lie, but hey,
Yeah.
we'll fit them in.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I like worshiping in a home because it's more personal.
For sure,
Yeah.
you get
I
to
feel
connect
like,
with,
yeah.
in my opinion, with small groups like this, you get to know guys a little bit better. Like, don't get me wrong, if you like going to big churches and meeting lots of people, all power to you, man. That's cool. But I'm more of a one-on-one basis sort of guy. So when you get to have these moments where you get to talk about life and just what's going on with somebody and what their thoughts are personally about some things, that's why I kind of like this Vault.
Yeah.
Because you get to connect with guys just on a different level that you wouldn't be able to normally.
Right. I completely agree. You
Much
feel
time
like
do
you
think
can
we waste just joking around at the beginning though.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, it just feels like you can really know someone on like a more personal level than rather just go to church, say hi to them, talk for a little bit. Whereas we all hang out as like a group of close friends.
Oh yeah. Well, the
Uh,
other thing is too is we like to take it to a deeper level. I mean, we
Yes.
joke and we have fun, but I mean, why I've been amazed with you guys is I'm asking, okay, what books you guys want to read? And they're like, okay, well, let's read Judges. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of screwed up people in Judges. He's like, that's fine. That's where rule number 1 comes from. What is rule number 1?
Yes, we can never forget this rule.
No ungodly women.
Never trust an
No
ungodly.
ungodly women.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
never trust never date an ungodly woman. So that Delilah made a definite impression on you guys. And then it's like, okay, let's talk about Daniel. Okay, we're done with Daniel. What do we want to do?
Sean.
Let's do Revelation. It's like, oh my goodness. I got to do some studying now.
Yeah. And
Hey.
Revelation's been great. It's kind of funny how we are starting. We are ending. We are just at the end of Revelations right now with our Bible study group with DS Vault, and now with the podcast, it's the first episode at the end of the Bible. So we're starting a podcast at the end of the Bible, and I just find that funny.
We'll have to go back to the beginning again.
Yeah, we will.
In the beginning,
God
God
made
created the
the
heavens.
world.
Oh man.
The time when everything went start, God made the sky and the world. And the world come so that no more nothing inside and no more shape nothing. And the top of the wild ocean that cover everything never had light nothing, only had God's spirit there. And
Are you
moving
reading it
around
right now?
over the water. Yeah, that's the pigeon. That's Hawaiian pigeon.
Oh,
So we
my
started
goodness.
back at the beginning.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So funny. So, but yeah, I want to do. So obviously, this isn't everyone in the group, but we had a DS Vault session that where everyone did like their favorite scripture and kind of like almost brought like an introduction to themselves, just so the people know. And so I kind of wanted to do that here, but my favorite, I guess I'll start first. So I am Zach. That is my name. I am the host of this podcast, and I was like one of the first members to join. I was pretty early on, I think. But my favorite scripture is Psalms 40:12, I believe, which is about roughly translating here, it is be still and know that I am God, because I just have like a lot of anxiety, and I know that a lot of people out in the world do too, just from stress from anything, really, the stress of being alive. And I just feel like I have like a lot of anxiety sometimes with decisions, or I double guess myself, but then this scripture really just, it brings like a calm wave over my soul and just my body, and it's like a physical thing that I can feel it after I like remember the verse, and that's why it's my favorite verse.
Nice.
Yeah. So we can do Wade's favorite verse if he wants to, or we can go to Weston.
I'm actually ready to go if you want to.
Sure, we can do Weston.
All right. So my name's Weston, and I'd have to say what my favorite verse would be is definitely Revelations 3:15, because man, it starts like this: because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. And the reason why I like this verse is because, man, you got to be on fire for the Lord. You can't just be like, oh, I don't know if I want to serve him or not. I don't know if I'm really fully committed to this, because, dude, he's fully committed to you. He sent his only son, to die on the cross for our sins and to save us. And if he can do that for us, then I'm pretty sure then we can put in some work and actually, follow his word. So that's just my take on this. This is my favorite verse on that, but that's what I gotta say is something I enjoy. But I won't lie to you when I say I sweat the small things way too much, like small problems that aren't too big. I that really bothers me way too much. So something that I have to work on is just trying not to overly stress about these things, and
let God
just,
take control, right?
yes, exactly. Because man, if you're not letting God in control, it's gonna go downhill pretty quickly.
Yeah, because I mean, you're gonna crumble just with the weight of the world.
Yeah, can't do it on my strength, man. I tried that; it failed. So
Exactly.
God is in control, and we just need to learn to trust Him more.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. All right, Zane or Wade?
All right. I will go. So mine is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. And this is because I'm like a year shy of being 50. So at this point, you start thinking, I am mortal. And so
I am actually going to die at one point.
I am going to die. There are mornings I wake up and my body hurts so bad, I think I'm going to die.
Hey, in
Right.
your will, I get your Legos.
No, you split between your brothers.
Oh no.
All right. Okay.
I just had this thought of you scattering like a Lego minefield before you're like packing them up and start with your brothers
Good luck
coming.
getting
No,
these Legos.
Good
Good luck.
stepping on the Legos.
Yeah,
The-
good
the
luck
This is how the
getting
family
mine.
feud starts. Yeah.
good luck getting to these Legos.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You say
Let
to
me
your
tell ya.
brothers as you drop all the Legos on the floor that they have to walk through.
I learned very quickly I do not walk downstairs into the playroom unless I have shoes on. Like every parent's, that's like a common meme though.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're right.
Gosh.
We made it a minefield, though.
That's what we need to. We need to send a ton of Legos to the Ukraine right now so they can make a Lego minefield. Stop the Russians.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. I have
Mhm.
fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. All that awaits me now is the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for him to appear.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like 2019 hit. You think life's going to just continue to go on the way it always has. And, and then 2020 hit, and then unprecedented things started happening, stuff that definitely our Constitution does not support in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. But it hasn't just hit here. It's hit over the entire world.
Yeah, it kind of
Um,
interconnected everything.
yeah.
Even
And
more
it's
so.
we've never seen, even World War II, there were still areas of the world that just weren't affected by it, deepest
Mhm.
Africa and South America, they were hardly in it at all. So it wasn't, the whole world isn't being affected. So it's not the end times. But now, literally, the whole world is being just affected by what's going on. And you're just seeing, societies that we thought were really, really strong, like Australia and stuff, just crumbling.
Yeah, true.
And so it's like, man, when is the Lord coming back? He's got to be coming back soon.
Mhm.
I I am very much a pre-trib rapture guy, and so when I read that verse, I'm just longing for his return.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm done.
Okay. But
My
yeah,
turn then, I guess.
yeah, you
Here's
can go
the
ahead and go.
Okay, I'm done.
So I'm actually gonna have two.
Flush
The
toilet.
first is Acts 16:31.
Mm.
Believe on the Lord, or how's it start? And the jailers asked them, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" And they replied, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved, you and your household." And my second one is Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Mhm.
I like these verses because the first one, Acts 16:31, it's a definite promise of salvation and hope, but not just for you, but for your family. And it's the second one too. It also is not just me, but my family. We serve the Lord, and the reason being for that is in this world, you can't take anything with you. It's all gonna go away. It's all gonna burn. It's all gonna
Yep.
pass away and be no more, except for the people around you who come
Mhm.
to know Christ, and that is very important to me because aside from God, family is the most important thing to me, and I really want
Mm.
everyone in my family to continue to be with me into eternity. So I like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's next?
Yeah. Like to add on to that, yeah, that's a really good one because I have that same mentality of family and stuff with everyone following me into eternity and me really wanting everyone to go with me, or me taking me spreading God's word so that they can go to heaven as well. And it's like there's no other meaning to life besides praising God and getting people home, essentially.
I do want to say one thing, guys.
Yeah.
So you were talking about you want to see everybody go to heaven.
Right.
As a father, I had a great mentor when I was younger. His name was Mark. He was awesome guy, and he said, hey, Wade, you're getting to the point you and Tina are going to start having kids. And he says, there's one thing I just want to impress upon you. There's only one thing in this life that you can take with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or better word would be that can follow you to heaven.
Right.
And that's your children. He says, everything else you're going to leave behind. What's the most important thing? What do you really want to see in heaven with you? It's your children. And so, to dads out there, to parents in general, your first witness, even pastors do this a lot. They neglect their kids for their flock. But your first witness is always to your kids.
Right.
If you're not doing that, if you don't have that right, then I don't care if you're a pastor. I don't care if you have a flock of 1,000 people in your church. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And they can just be mad at me. I don't care. Your first duty, your first witness is to your children.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean, if you don't care about your children, what makes you care more about other people?
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of goes hand in hand. There's one thing that we all have in common that we're going to talk quite a bit about, which is tech stuff, whether it be video games, movies, nerd culture, I guess. Do people still even call it nerd culture? I don't know.
Culture, yeah. Geek
Okay.
culture. I mean,
Geek-
at this point, it's
Yeah.
pop
Geek culture,
really.
because I don't
By
know
the
if
way-
it's geek or nerd, because I
So
hardly ever
we
see
gotta
it.
we gotta define this naturally, like because people are gonna be like, oh no, you're nerds or you're geeks. No, here's the thing: a geek is a person
Oh,
that can
no.
still. But you wanna tell them how it goes, Zane? Just so you can define, because people often get this confused.
Well, a nerd
between
is not just someone who is like into what people would describe as nerdy things, like Star Wars or something. A nerd is someone who is
Into math.
ultra. Well, they're ultra focused on. They understand one thing really, really well, and they don't know much outside of that. They're not very socially inept.
Mm.
And
No, they are socially inept.
Huh?
They are socially inept.
oh yeah,
They-
yeah, no, they are
cannot-
socially adept, is what I meant. They're not socially adept, but
Adept.
they hyper focus in on this one thing, and that's really all they understand, and so they don't quite get things outside of that. And that's that
Mhm.
guy that you talk to him, and all he ever knows is Batman stuff. He just goes on and on about Batman because that's all he really gets and understands. It
Right.
doesn't even have to be a real geeky thing. It could be the math nerd who he just understands math very much, very, very well, and that's all
Right.
he gets. He doesn't understand people outside of it. A geek is someone who is more into
Everything.
yeah, well, not just that, but just like you really know a lot about Star Wars and things like that, but you also like
you kinda
branch
broaden
out
your
to like
horizons a little bit
D&D
more.
or something like that. You're real into the more what people describe as the nerdy pop culture side of things,
Mm-hmm.
which in this day and age has become a lot more mainstream. But
Yeah.
just because you're a geek doesn't necessarily mean you're that socially inept person. I mean, a lot of geeks nowadays are actually very much in the social circles of the world going on. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like geek has lost its meaning because everyone is basically a geek now.
yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, it used to be geeks and nerds were almost like synonymous with each other because there wasn't really much difference back at the time. Like most nerds were geeks, I think.
Right.
But in this day and age, with the rise of like Marvel jumping from comics into movies,
Yes.
and have a whole generation that grew up with stuff like that, being
Yeah.
a geek is fairly
Video games and
normal.
everything.
So,
yeah,
like,
gamer.
when I
I'm a
was growing up,
gamer.
I'm going to interject here real quick. So when I was growing up, like the geeks and the nerds, they were looked upon because you're weird. You did weird stuff. You played Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, how strange is that? You like, yeah. And then we go to a football game, and here'd be like these jock guys, the ones that weren't actually out playing football. They'd be like painting themselves red and white and orange, and like being half naked. And it's 30 degrees out at a football, and you're in the stands, and you're screaming and shouting, and you're like, okay, I may be a geek, but you're a freak. What in the world? That is the pot calling the kettle black, Dorcas. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Dorcas was
Oh,
actually
no.
a very righteous woman in the Bible. But
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
I forgot it was a Bible character.
It's like, you're making fun of me?
It's a
Oh
person
my
in the
gosh.
Bible.
Take that clown thing off your head and wash yourself.
Nice.
And come play D&D with me. You'll find it's a lot more fun, and it's warm. We'll be in
Yeah.
someone's basement.
Exactly.
And you don't have to paint your body too.
No.
Well, some
can't.
people do.
If
Unless
you're
Depending
farming,
on
I guess.
depending on what character you are, how much you want to
Yeah.
role play.
So yeah, some people really like to do that, and they'll like make up their entire body or put on like Viking war paint.
Wait, but isn't that what's that called?
LARPing.
LARPing. Yeah. No offense to LARPing. That's a little strange, but hey, if you like to dress up like a freaking Viking or something like that and beat people with a foam sword, all power to you, man. That's cool. It's just I don't know.
I don't think LARPing's strange. LARPing is like the
It
athletic
can be
side of-
strange.
It can be.
That's what I'm saying. It can be a little strange.
depending
But,
depending
Hey,
on how far
at
they
least
go
they're
with it.
getting out and they're getting exercise.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
There
hey,
you
it's
go.
a good excuse to put on some armor and swing a sword. 'Cause it's fun. That is
So
fun.
does that mean like every Comic-Con and every convention, the majority of everyone's a LARPer?
Oh,
Well, there's
yeah, I
cars-
mean,
There's cosplayer and then there's LARPers.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
just because you dress up doesn't mean you actually like, go out and role play and do like D&D with your actual body. instead
Yeah.
of
You go
That's true. I
running.
was gonna say cosplayers do kind of role play as the character they made or designed, or who they are,
Mm.
but they don't go out and like role play it with a bunch of other people like on a weekly basis or something like that. I don't know
Like
what they like. Mean.
Gigantic foam
Right.
dice, and they roll between the two guys, and like, okay, you got to hit. He comes up
Yeah.
and whacks the deal in the leg. Oh my gosh. That's a PVC. That's not Nerf. What's wrong with you?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I just
But-
like to hear people scream when I hit them.
It gets me more immersed.
That just kinda
brings out
reminds
the
me,
emotion when my opponent breaks down and starts crying at my feet.
That just
Yeah.
reminds me of
Beat
the
him with a
actors
foam
in
stick.
It really makes me feel like a barbarian.
Because if you guys remember in Lord of the Rings, like Gimli, the actor for him, people were like actually scared when he was like swinging his axe around because he actually hit them pretty hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Well,
come
it's
at
like-
me from that angle and
It's like
I shall
method
hit you
acting,
one.
right?
What's
Even
that?
like
Huh?
it's like method acting. I think that's what it's called, right? Where actors just like when they're playing a character, they literally live as that character for like months and months and months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's what
Yes.
Aragorn did actually. The actor for Aragorn, what was his name?
Vigo
Mortensen, Vigo.
Yeah.
Vigo Mortensen.
He actually got in trouble with the cops at one point because he took his sword. What, Dad? You know this? What was it?
He carried his sword into a restaurant or whatever because he carried it with him wherever he was at.
Mm.
And people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is New Zealand. You just don't walk around carrying 3-foot long piece of steel that's sharpened."
Very
And
true.
he just set it beside his chair. He just carried it with him where he went. Well, the cops came in and they had to explain, I'm playing this part in the movie. And then the guys were like, "Oh, you're bringing tons of money to New Zealand. Hey, that's fun. Yeah, it's so cool." I don't know. You have to watch the extended version of Lord of the Rings, like behind the scenes. But like he
Cool.
slept with his horse, and I mean, his horse actually really loved him because he got to know his horse really, really well.
That's nice.
I
See,
mean,
that's
if you got a guy who's spending that much time in his craft, and he's that into it, and he's not doing it just for the money, he's doing it because he really loves it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
How
what
would we apply that
separates.
to like Christians?
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us are like really immersed in being a Christian at all
Mhm.
times during the week? Not just on Sundays.
Right.
mean,
yeah. Colonel Christians and everything.
What's a kernel Christian? Like a popcorn kernel?
Yes.
I was thinking more
That's
like
what
Colonel Sanders, but as a Christian.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel
It's a
Sanders.
chicken Christian.
I forget exactly, but there was
Chicken
like
Christian.
what I learned at like my church when growing up at the Church of Christ, by the way. So that's where I basically went to church growing up. But it was like they would talk about how there's different types of Christians. There's like people who like really believe, who are full-fledged Christians, but then there's like carnal Christians or carnal Christians that are like
Arnold.
yeah, carnal. I don't know why I say colonel because maybe it's because I'm from the Midwest. So
Colonel Christian.
Colonel Christian feller.
You wash your clothes in the creek where the wolves howl.
Yeah, exactly. But But basically, it's like a carnal Christian's like someone who believes in Jesus, but they don't exactly walk the walk entirely, or something like that. I don't entirely remember. So the actual like definition
I heard
for it.
Christians
It's
only
like the lukewarm
in
thing.
Yeah. Like I grew up hearing like coin Christians. Christians only in name, or is it in name only, or only in name? Christians
I call them
like
pew
that.
fillers.
only in name. I think it's only in name. Oh well.
Yeah.
Pew filler. Yeah.
But yeah, since we're in this segment, so we're talking about different nerd culture things. I recently saw the Nintendo Direct, and for Wade, if you don't know what that is, Nintendo, the game company, they did.
I'm the old guy.
um,
I'm gonna get my coffee.
Porn, son.
yeah. But basically, Nintendo Direct is basically like a show where they show all the different video games that are going to be coming to the Switch or whatever Nintendo products that they're making for the future. And this new one that came out was pretty big. It was really interesting. Did you guys see it at all, Weston, Zane?
I saw a couple of it. What I was most excited for, though, was The Force Unleashed. I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there like,
Yes.
oh, he's overpowered.
Yes, when
But
I
I was
saw The
like,
Force
my
Unleashed,
guy-
I was so hyped.
In my opinion, I think Starkiller was honestly a great idea to actually start the rebellion or have the idea for it. But
Yes.
that's just it's pretty much legends now.
He's still canon in my heart.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
what I think too. But
So I googled Nintendo Direct. That sure looks like a mouthful. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yes.
He's eating a car.
Yes, he becomes Car Kirby.
Hopefully he's eating a French car. He can eat anything French as far as like.
Is this new Kirby going to be open world? I heard some rumor
Yes,
about that.
it's like the Mario that
Sorry.
came out, the new Mario game where he goes to like New York and he like jumps around skyscrapers and stuff, wreaking havoc. Basically, it's like that, but Kirby, and it's like so. Imagine The Last of Us, but instead of playing like the cool characters, you're playing as Kirby. I guess Kirby's cool.
What?
Kirby's cool.
I was gonna say Kirby.
Kirby's
Heck
cool.
yeah, he's cool.
He's cooler than The Last of Us characters.
Hey, he fights
What
giant
about The
penguins
Last
and
of Us?
interdimensional monsters.
The Last of Us is like a zombie game.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm saying, have they gotten to where that's stable on PC platform, or is it? Because I heard a lot of issues on PC. It was fine on like Xbox or that
I don't
sort
know.
of thing.
I don't know actually. It
They
might.
came out
anyone-
with
I
the
think
second-
on PC. I think on PC it worked well.
Oh,
But-
and
No,
also some other news.
They've come out with another one.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't play
Yeah,
the second one.
That's the one everyone hates, though.
Yeah, the second one, like the gameplay is great. Don't get me wrong. Some people like it, but they're insane. So basically,
They just love zombies.
yeah. Well, like the game is good. Like the gameplay and everything's good. But what sucks is the story. The story is awful because it's
They
just
killed off the main character
They
in like
killed
the
off-
first 2 minutes.
yeah. They killed
They
off the
have
main.
a whole bunch of different endings.
Yeah.
I thought the ending changed different choices, different endings.
No. I'm pretty sure not. Well, I don't know actually. Maybe maybe a little bit, but there are like some story things set in stone for the game already, and one of them is that the main character, he dies from the first game. The main character from the first game, he dies and he gets beaten to death by a club, or like a golf club. And then
Golf club.
yeah,
Oh,
with a
boy.
golf club. And then it's also by
Yeah.
it's also, I don't know if it's a trans person or not. I don't know if it was confirmed ever, but it looks like a trans person
is.
nonetheless.
That's
It is.
good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
well,
basically,
there's a whole sex scene with them
yeah, and it's
in the
like,
game.
yeah,
that
yeah, and-
everybody didn't like.
yeah, everybody hated, like even people who were gay and people who were part of the LGBTQ community, they even didn't like it.
It's necessary.
Because what happened was that it came out of left field. like there was a video, they blurred it obviously, but they were just them playing the game, right? And then they're like watching this cutscene with these characters. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it cuts and switches to the scene, and it's just all blurred, and the guy's just like, he's just like covering his face because he's like, what is happening? Because it almost felt, it was very jarring and random.
I work with a guy who loved the first game, and he said he spent the whole weekend playing the second game. He didn't tell me anything about that.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm not going to tell the good Christian man what's going on in the game.
No. There's like the gameplay and everything is like groundbreaking. Goodness. But it's just amazing. It's really cool. But it's like the gameplay and the animations and how the gameplay works and everything. It's very intuitive. But the actual story absolutely sucks because it's like they tried to make it very woke to society, but it's in a zombie apocalypse and it kind of doesn't make sense, and it felt like they were being too preachy with it.
Okay, here's the deal. Wokeness, if there is a zombie apocalypse, people aren't going to freaking care. They're going to be trying to live. You know?
Yeah, very true.
It's like, oh, I can't shoot them. That's a woke person. A woke zombie. No, whatever. I know I'm
woke zombie.
I'm gonna step off here. I gotta let the dog out, and I've got prepare some stuff for tomorrow.
All right, so, we'll continue.
What I can do is, I don't know, look through some of the. I mean, we're coming up on Passover. Maybe I could pull out like a couple of my Passover ones.
That's a good idea.
And talk about how you see Jesus in the Old Testament feasts. They all point towards him.
That'd be cool if we could do that for the next episode.
Because that's something that a lot of people aren't like real familiar with.
Yeah, they are.
Old Testament feasts. Because the Gentile church, by and large, unless you're Messianic, you just don't practice the feast. Because that's like, oh, that's a Jewish thing.
But and the thing is that there's so much symbolism in it. It's so beautiful.
Tons.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Especially in the Passover. Spoiler. So all 10 of those plagues coincided with the 10 major gods of the Egyptians at that time period, and that was God, including, of course, the Pharaoh. That was God showing his power over all those Egyptian gods, and that they were defenseless against him, and that he truly was the one true God. So, anyway,
very cool.
That's all.
That'd be cool if we could get into that.
I'll catch up with you guys another time.
All right, sweet. Thanks for joining.
Later.
Okay, now it's just the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
what are we talking about first?
Games and more games.
You know what? I got something to say.
Hold on.
I am a huge fan of Dying Light, and that is coming out soon.
Yes, Dying Light 2 came out.
They put it off for so long, but I'm glad they did.
It came out or it's coming out?
Oh, it came out.
Yeah, it's out.
I haven't played it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't play it.
Moist Critical, the YouTuber, he already made a video on it and rated it, and he said it was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and some people are starting to rate it now on YouTube, so I'm like, okay. I'm not into zombie games, I'll be honest. I'm not a big zombie guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, neither am I.
I don't care. I like Minecraft, and that's about the only zombie game that I care for. If you can call it a zombie game.
The ones that go, bruh, that's the ones you actually fight with?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I see.
No, but I think some zombie games are good. Like, I played The Last of Us, the first one, with one of my friends, Justin, when I was little, when it first came out. When I was younger, I wouldn't say little, but it was good. I enjoyed it, but it's not for me. I don't know. I don't like Resident Evil games too. Not a big fan of those either. I don't know. It's not that it's horror and horror bothers me. It's more like I don't care for the gameplay or anything.
See, I'm a zombie fan for sure. I love playing Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead.
All those zombie games. Also,
this. Oh yeah, Black Ops. I can't just say Minecraft because I played a lot of zombies on Black Ops. That's true.
That's probably the only one that I really like is Black Ops.
Yeah, I mean it's laid back.
Transit, Black Ops 2 Transit for days, man.
That's the only reason why I even played Black Ops was for zombies.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are like that. But Speaking of games and more games, so I wanted to bring up another one, which is Nintendo Direct released a new Wii Sports, Switch Sports.
I've seen that.
Switch Sports. So it's Wii Sports, but Switch. It's on Switch.
Ooh.
And it's going to be $40. I checked the price. You can pre-buy it now, pre-order. And it is $40, which is a little high for my opinion, because there's only going to be 6 games on it.
Yikes.
Is it a brand new game, or is it a port from the Wii that's been modified?
No. It's brand new. Brand new.
Oh.
And the Miis don't look like Miis.
Oh, shoot. No, those don't look like Miis at all.
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing I was disappointed. I was like, man, I want to use my Mii that I've created. Maybe they'll add that up.
It might be that you
they
can
do.
still
You can use
Mii.
it. In the video, in the live stream, they had people forget this, or I've seen people forget this. Some people who are reviewing it or watching the live reaction, they did a whole thing to show you that Miis are in there, because they did a volleyball. They're showing off the volleyball gameplay with some Japanese men, and like the owner of Nintendo or something, and they did a volleyball game, right? But what happened was that they were using their Miis against the other characters that were not Miis, but they just came to it the game. So on the case, it shows like their own new version of like a Mii, but you can input your own like Mii's face onto the characters, and it looks pretty good.
It's gonna be like Go Vacation, where you have the kind of cartoony characters, but you can also put your Mii in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's actually gonna be great. Yeah. You know, I'd actually like the Wii Sports game a lot more too if they kind of did make it like Go Vacation. To be honest, if it was like an open world thing.
Yeah.
But you could go around and find multiple games, not just like the 6 ones they're going to implement. But that's just my take. I loved Go Vacation. I was a huge Go Vacation fan, and I also loved boxing with Matt. By the way, on the Wii, that was great. I am one of those overachievers that beat Matt on boxing, which is freaking hard. But
yes,
that was awesome.
It was difficult.
And you're telling me that you just sort of... How did you beat him again?
Huh? Oh, okay. So
beat him with ease.
Right. So the other day, Wes and I, we were talking about this in a car, and or was it whatever? We were talking about this, and what happened was that he was talking about, like, he asked me if I ever beat Matt in Wii Sports, because we were talking about that they're making a new one, and I was like, well, let me remember, because I did this like a long time ago. And yes, I did. I remembered beating him. But it was... I didn't understand boxing. I never knew you could block in the game. So I just spam really fast. Just with my Wii controllers. Really fast. And spam at the TV to just throw all my fists. Like really fast.
I'm still like, how did you not die like a billion times?
Oh no! I did die a billion times to this man, but I still tried, and I triumphed eventually, because I found out if you raise your controllers up, you can block, and I'm like, oh snap! Because I knew hooks and stuff. I knew how you could hook and everything.
Yeah.
So, and I knew those were like all the good power shots. But then after I unlocked the ability to block, I'm like, oh, I get it.
You know, there's another thing that I like.
So this is how this.
So
this is how this sport's supposed to be played.
Yeah. I would do it by slipping all the time, because when you slip, there's a split second where it slows down time, and you can have a clear shot.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that happened to me a lot, just without me understanding the mechanics.
You just thought it was a cool moment in the game. They slowed it down.
They're like, ooh, this is a cool slow-mo scene.
I just remember, though, loving the end, the song. Like, Wii Sports had some memorable songs, man. I remember at the end of it, they play the hype song, and you're like, yes, I achieved being Matt and all that, or whoever you fought. And I created this character that's kind of scary now that I look at him. Adam. So what I did is, I was like, how can I make Adam? Because I was a big fan of robot boxing when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid. So I took the eyes, and they were just dark holes, because I was like, I can't make them blue like Adam. So, and then, of course, the skin color, you can only have skin color. You couldn't make it gray or anything like that. You set them out. And then I was like, all right, so for the head, what do? Black beanie. Perfect. So now I've got this monstrosity that went all the way through boxing and beat Matt And I look back on that and I'm like, why didn't I just use my own character? Adam's horrifying. And he also has no mouth, by the way. I made it too small so you can't see it. So
Oh
it's just
no.
this creature with 2 black eyes and a black beanie coming to beat you up.
Yes. That's great.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's like that reminds me of like my me that I created that I already told you, where his nose is on his chin and and you can make the sunglasses like as small as possible. So I just so it looks like his nose is on his chin, so it looks like it's elongated. It's like an elongated chin that's like pointing out, and then he also has like a tiny little sunglasses that almost look like a monocle that just sits on his chin or nose chin, and it's very funny. And then his mouth is above his mustache, and then
so essentially you made Waluigi.
Yes, essentially. Well, a very, very, very... well, he's also very thick. I didn't make him very skinny. I made him very thick. I put all the settings to max. So he's extremely tall and extremely big with an extremely messed up face.
That's amazing. Zane, do you
beautiful.
want to tell Zach about how you would make clone troopers?
What?
Yeah,
Clone trooper me's?
You'd make clone troopers?
Oh yeah. We always tried to make clone trooper me's.
Oh wait, so you would form the face into a helmet?
Yes. So we had like bald guys that were as wide as we could get them, with
That's
like
so smart.
the little narrow slit eyes,
Yeah.
and then the triangular nose with just like an angry face.
Oh no, that's
then we,
amazing.
Color them white, and those were like our army of clone trooper me's.
Oh, that's awesome.
They
That's
look
hilarious.
horrible. They look like just a bunch
Yeah,
of bald
dude.
angry guys, but
Yeah, they should include those in the new Disney movies.
Oh gosh, with skin-colored helmets. I don't know about that one.
That's like some Doomslayer type stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be horrifying, but
It would. Now,
that was the days of Wii.
yes.
There's a lot
But
more stories. to that,
also,
but yeah.
moving on to what Nintendo came out with, new Xenoblade. You guys probably aren't interested in Xenoblade. It's anime game. So Xenoblade is really good. I like Xenoblade's story, so I'm happy about that one. Everyone was angry because it wasn't Breath of the Wild, because they revealed it. It was the very last game that they revealed, and it was Xenoblade 3. I didn't play the first one. I know the lore and everything about it. It's because it's weird, because Xenoblade 1 is about the Monado, which is like the sword, and then also Shulk, who owns the sword, and it's like this takes place in like this other alternate world or universe compared to, well, it's in the same universe, I guess, but it's like on this other world or something, compared to Xenoblade 2, which is about Rex, and like the system and how everything works in that world is completely different compared to the first game. And so it's like really interesting how both those universes collided, and now we have a third one, which I'm excited about. So we have 1, 2, and now we have 3, and the third one looks really good. If you look up Xenoblade 3 right now on the computer, I'll put one on like the screen so people can see watching the podcast. But the character looks exactly like Bam. Like they show a clip. They show a clip of him running through the field. It's a guy with a flute, and he's like running through this field.
those look like Bam.
And his hair, it looks exactly like Bam from Tower of God.
Yeah.
Exactly like him.
Except with a big red sword.
Yeah, it looks exactly like Bam from Tower of God. Now I'm wondering
By the way,
what universe he exists in. If it's going to be Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, or if it's going to be its own universe, like its own world again.
Each game is just a new parallel world.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Why didn't they just do a continuation to the first one? Did like the first one wrap up or something?
Yeah, it had a good wrap up, and I think they're like, well, we don't want to ruin the series by making like another story. So because they basically Shulk basically defeated essentially what God is in that universe, because he was evil, or the person who created things. I don't exactly remember because it's an older game. And I don't remember it. I never played it. I just know from hearing other people who have played it. But the second one is you defeating this guy, but then you never face like this overarching creator or something like in Xenoblade 1, but you do meet Shulk in Xenoblade 2 with DLC.
Wait, which one's the one where the girls turn into the weapons?
That's Xenoblade 2.
Oh.
With Pyra and Mithra. Yeah. That's Xenoblade 2. And they're good games. I really like them. They're fun. I really like the mechanics.
Like swinging women around, I guess.
Yes, I guess, kind of. But yeah, it's great. I love it. So I'm excited for the third one. I hope it's good. Mario Kart 8.
Wait, so are they weapons that turn into girls or girls that can turn into weapons?
Both.
Well, I mean, what they start as?
Okay, so they were created by a scientist type guy, if I remember. I haven't played the game in forever, in years. I finished the game within a week after it first came out, so so man, so my memory is going to be gone for it. But they were created by a scientist or some dude, and they were so technically they're more weapon than human, because technically they don't have a soul since they were created by a dude, like a guy.
So they're swords that can turn into people.
I think so. I think that's what it is. I think that is a more accurate description.
Hold on. So wait, what's the purpose of that exactly?
But I don't know, Zane, because there are other. No, that's
no.
accurate.
This is Weston here. I'm asking. What do you?
Well,
think
they're not.
Purpose?
Well, actually, hold on, Zane. They actually don't technically turn into a weapon. It's more like they fight beside you.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not like I don't remember if.
Wait, is it like a character companion thing then?
Yeah, it's like a character companion thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're making there's a new Mario Strikers coming out.
Oh,
yes,
really?
Yes, there's a new Mario Strikers.
That game, dude. What's it coming out on?
The
Switch.
What else?
Okay, hold on.
It's coming out on the Wii.
I'm sorry. Actually, for a minute, I was like, "Wait a minute." My brain was like, "This is Wii, isn't it?" But no.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too because people can stop playing FIFA and then they can go over to that game.
Oh my gosh! All right, FIFA fans.
Actual
the
good
game isn't
game.
changing.
Yes.
It's just better graphics. It's the same game, but just better graphics. Just keep the same game you bought last year.
But basically, that game's going to come out, and it looks good. Like, they even show gameplay of it. So,
yeah, this looks good. Cool. I'm probably going to end up getting it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Mario Kart fan. And they released Mario Kart 8 content. So, unfortunately, they debated us. They're like, well, we could do Mario Kart 9, but let's just say we just remastered all the old courses and just gave them as DLC. So you know how you can buy a pack of characters in Smash Bros?
Yeah.
It's like that, but for race tracks in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for it, but I wish it was a Mario Kart 9 instead. So I'm still excited because I like that game. I think it's a good game, but I just wish we got a 9 instead of just 8. I want new. I don't want old that got turned into new. So,
right.
Yeah. But then again, all the Breath of the Wild Zelda fans are sad and crying to their mom because of no Breath of the Wild 2 came out. No trailer, no nothing about Zelda. So they're gonna have to wait for another year or two until that game actually comes out.
Sound like a real scrub, but how many Zelda games actually are there?
Oh, so many. I don't know, because I'm not a big Zelda fan. I like Breath of the Wild, because I actually did play that. I actually enjoyed it.
If you could guess, though, how many do you think were made?
How many were made?
Just look it up. You can Google
just look it up. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I know. I'm actually curious about this. Let me hold it. I gotta pause my game.
Yeah, I'll let you pull it up.
How many Zelda games?
But moving on, while he's working on that, that's basically
27.
Wait,
Holy
how?
crap! These guys are complaining about one game. They got 27 to work on.
It's like a Call
My
of Duty
guy!
franchise.
Calm down. There's so many games you can do. Holy
Well,
crap!
look at the games though, bro. Some of them don't really hold up. They're
Yeah,
old. They're old.
You got The Legend of Zelda, Zelda: The Adventures of Link, Zelda, Legend of Zelda: A Link to Past,
Yeah,
Link's
that one's good.
Awakening. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Freaking
Okay.
Oracle season. There's so many. Sheesh.
So I'm like browsing through Nintendo's like new releases, just looking
Yes.
at what's going on, and I see one like this cool knight called Ruined King. Looks kind of interesting. Click on it. League of Legends story. Ruined my day.
Bro.
It's like
Zane,
another
I'm gonna have to
debated
ask you to step
moment.
outside and touch some grass now.
That's awesome. You have to touch the grass.
That is legally required.
Legally required. Any League of Legends mention, you have to touch grass.
Yep.
Otherwise, you are not of this world.
No, actually, you just sit in your basement all day and play games on League of Legends and grow
Fair.
a neck beard, and you go to Reddit, eat some Cheetos.
Kind of have a neck beard.
Sorry, I'm not trying to diss your neck beard, Zach. I'm sorry, and I know you're.
I can't grow. I literally can't grow it anywhere else. So
it's cool. It's fine.
But so, any other gaming news? Anything that's coming out? I like Elden Ring. Excited for that.
Well, there's a new
Elden
device.
Ring, yeah, gonna play that one definitely.
Elden Ring is going to be so good. I cannot wait for it.
I know this isn't Nintendo, but I'm surprised none of y'all have mentioned the Steam Deck at all.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
It's just like a Switch almost, except for it's a PC, and it's
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
yes, yeah. We're done with the Nintendo segment. That's basically all. But
Yeah.
but
Me
yeah.
and Zane actually ordered a couple of these things, and we'll be able to talk about them more later.
Oh really? You guys actually bought them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got the highest
sick.
brand one. I got the medium because I was like, I'm cheap.
So, no. That's gonna be like as Linus Tech Tips, as following his words, he says this is going to be life changing in the gaming industry.
Oh yes.
Because
yeah,
it's
'cause-
literally like a computer in your hands.
Well, because PC gaming has the largest library of games ever. I mean, you can play games from
Yes.
Xbox to PlayStation, games that are like
Yeah.
super old,
And
you
like
can't
even
get
with like
anymore.
the Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that, it's becoming even better.
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing about getting a good, decent PC, you got to spend thousands of dollars to get a PC that can actually run anything nowadays.
Correct.
But
Steam
I mean,
is
the
actually
Steam
losing
Deck,
money on this.
the most expensive one is only like 600 something.
Right.
So you have a mobile computer gaming system that can play more games than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's not really going to be much that can compete with that.
Right.
But I feel
Very
like the
true.
Steam Deck is it's going to end up taking off just because of that.
Yeah.
Dude, when I'm on vacation and stuff too, like usually I'd be playing on the Switch or something like that, or I'd just like be on my phone. And the thing is though, now that I'll be able to play some like AAA games on the move, I'm gonna be even less productive. It's gonna be great. I will just sit there and
Yes.
play this thing probably for a couple hours as
Yeah.
long as it'll let me. But
Well, I mean, the thing with the Switch is that the Switch is amazing console. It's great. It's just not very powerful, and there's not a lot of games on the Switch. I mean, there are like a lot of games, but I feel like there's no games that is like mainstream that isn't like for a Nintendo fan.
yeah,
Right? There's nothing
not.
outside of Nintendo.
I mean, unless you like playing older titles.
Unless Doom, I guess Doom is on the Switch though. There are like some that are like, okay, I can play this. But with the Steam Deck, it's basically just a more powerful, very much more powerful Switch, and you can play almost like any game on it.
right. And
Yeah,
I gotta
but-
tell you something cool. So I was worried about one thing about the Switch. How hot is this thing gonna feel in my hands?
Oh
And
yeah,
Linus
apparently
Tech
it's not
saw
bad.
his video. Yeah, he actually took a thermal thing
Mm-hmm.
and he was looking at the difference between this other thing. I forget what is that. What's the other thing to the Steam Deck? The rival of it, Zane?
rival.
Yeah, there's like another company that made
This
one,
is off. This kind of like.
but
this,
it gets
I don't wanna say
really
off
hot
brand.
though on the back.
It does. So I was worried about that. But then I noticed
You
that
could cook some like
the
chicken on it.
engineers, they thought about that. They're like, okay, look, this is going to get really hot. So what are we going to do? They've spread it out to where the thermals don't actually go close to your hands at all. It's all where the screen is, and just
Right.
behind that. So as far as your hands are going to be uncomfortable, they're not going to be uncomfortable at all.
Yeah.
For hours upon gameplay, it's going to be great.
Yeah, but
speaking
here's
about the Switch, and I don't think the Switch really is going to be like competing much with the Steam Deck. I mean, they're both like handheld.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, they're similar, but they completely have two different goals in mind. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
because of
everyone-
games.
When the Steam Deck first got announced, they were talking about how like it's going to be like the rival to the Nintendo Switch. But honestly,
No.
the Switch doesn't really go for the same audience.
It doesn't.
I mean,
it's
Nintendo
completely
has a-
different. There's no
Yeah, they have a
Nintendo
big-
game that isn't on a Nintendo console. I feel like.
I mean, most of Nintendo stuff stays on Nintendo stuff. It doesn't
Yes.
usually branch out to other.
Unless you have like an
console.
emulator or something.
Yeah, and the Switch 2 is more for like your families, your party events and stuff. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be pulling out the Steam Deck and playing the Steam Deck when I have, a Deus Vult or stuff. We're going to pull out the Switch and play Smash Bros. Or
Yeah, and all of
something.
us.
It's just the
Yeah.
Switch. It appeals for a different reason to a different audience. I mean, yeah, they're both handhelds, Nintendo and the Steam Deck, but that's about the only thing they really do have in common. I mean, they don't play the same games and they don't go for the same audience.
Right. Yeah.
So one thing I am kind of disappointed about. This is something I've said it before. I haven't said it on the podcast because it's the first podcast, but this isn't also. I don't think it's a Nintendo game. It's probably not. It's a PlayStation game. So Kingdom Hearts. I actually really enjoyed playing that. Like the second one.
Okay.
Growing up, it was great. I loved it. But the thing is, they've never released it for PC at all. It's always been a PlayStation thing. So
True. It has. It's because Sony.
Yes, and I'm like, dude, if you release this on PC, you'd make a lot more money. Not to mention, you could remaster it to make it look even better.
Yeah.
So
'cause-
that's just my go-to on that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they did just release like the old Kingdom Hearts games for the Switch, so you could
They
play it
did.
on that now.
They did do that. They were
Which
so.
one, the old one, the first one, or the second one?
I think the old ones.
I think all of the previous ones in one bundled together for like $70.
Yeah, I think
To be
you
honest,
can get
I might
all
actually
of
get
them.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I might get that. Whoops.
Yeah.
You
cool.
shouldn't have told me that, Zane. I'm going to spend money now. Glad this is the week of paycheck. Woohoo!
Nice.
yeah.
But yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add, like with video game stuff? One just hit me. Elden Ring. Can't wait for Elden Ring. Elden Ring's gonna be awesome. I was looking at it, looking how awesome it was. We were talking about all the different classes that are gonna be in it the other day, and
There's going to be a lot. I'm excited.
oh, dude, I just can't wait. That game. I've never played Dark Souls game. I can't wait to play a Souls game. It's gonna be awesome.
We'll
I
have
can't
to do some co-op together.
Yes.
guys. Wasn't there a new Lego Star Wars coming out too?
I can't wait to get beaten up by and die multiple times in that game.
That's the Souls experience.
It
Zane.
really is.
Wasn't there
What?
a new Lego Star Wars coming out though?
Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
New Lego Star Wars, I think.
I know this is probably not within you guys' field of.
It's been like that's been kind of talked about for the past year now. I don't know when it's coming out.
Me either.
To be honest, I am a Lego game.
Yeah.
I still like playing those things.
That reminds me. Speaking of Star Wars and Disney products and like Kingdom Hearts, there was so in the Nintendo Direct, Disney is making their own Mario Kart.
No.
It's
with
called
like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, with Mickey Mouse and everything. If you look at the gameplay, it looks like it's running on Unreal Engine 5.
Why?
I don't know.
The particle effects and everything is insane. Like the graphics look good. It looks like it's running on
manufacturing
Unreal
this
5.
for them.
I don't know actually. I didn't pay attention to that. But it's called Disney something Storm something.
I'm not gonna lie. Kingdom Hearts was great for a Disney game, but I'm still kind of sore about
I mean, I never
Infinity.
got into it.
Disney Infinity. Like that was a big scam, if you ask me, and I am still kind of mad at them about that. Because they say like, oh, you're gonna be able to play multiplayer and campaign and stuff. They showed multiple guys being able to play together in this open world, and I'm pretty sure they showed that you could use like different types of characters for different universes to work together.
Right.
in that different world. It was going to be great, but when I got it on the Wii with Zane, it's just a big flop of a disappointment. There was no characters that you could actually
I feel like-
have work together.
Right. I just feel
It was
like a lot of games nowadays are big flops of disappointment.
This is old now. I mean, this is years ago.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know. But I'm just relating it to now. That's all. I know he's talking about an old game, but I'm just talking about like. I feel like now more games are like big flops of disappointment than anything. Because
they put
live
so much
service
hype.
games, they put
They
so much
hype
behind
into these
some.
things, and they promise so much, and you can't
Yeah.
deliver it.
Yeah,
They try to make them bigger than they can actually make them. Instead
still
of
makes some
focusing on,
money. That's the thing. It still makes some money, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, no. That's why. In this day and age, I mostly play like indie games, or
Yeah.
I guess Nintendo games and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
like indie games are on a whole nother level almost right now.
Yeah,
I know. Well, it's because they don't focus on like making the game like look as stunning and photorealistic as possible.
They're
They
not-
focus more on the actual
Zane,
game.
I just forgot
just
to mention
that.
something.
Hold
And
on,
you guys
Wes.
are gonna freak out. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but not just that. It's like they have like a completely new they focus their time. Big companies focus their time on pleasing the people, their investors. They please the investors, and they please all the people with the money rather than the gamers who
actual guys with the
actually
money.
play the game. They want to make the game look all pretty and presentable and build this hype up for the investors to be like, yeah, we're going to invest more money because it's going to be a big hit. And when it flops, all the investors get angry, but the game company still gets all the money. So
Yeah.
it's just it's such a stupid money battle at the end of the day. Even with video games, with anything, I hate it. But it is what it is with big companies, and indie games are looking like the future for video games.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Zach,
As you were saying, Weston.
Oh yeah.
There's one last thing I wanted to add here, and this was a new game that's coming out that I've been waiting for so long. 10 years in the making.
Ooh.
And with one of my favorite characters from Warhammer, Captain Titus. My
Oh
word, it
yeah,
is
that one.
so good to see this man again. I thought he was dead. I thought him dead. And then
Yes,
when
the new
Inquisition
Warhammer
failed, Inquisition freaking suck it. I was so happy to see his face come back, and he's wearing the new armor too. At first, I was kind of iffy on the new helmet, to be honest. I was like,
Right.
I don't know, but it looks okay. It looks fine now,
Mm.
and I'm just excited to see where this game is going and how it's going to play out, and if it's going to be anything like the old one. I'm just glad Warhammer finally has a game that's not a strategy-based game. I'm like, dude, you've got so many of these. We've had in my opinion, I know there's a lot of Warhammer fans, a lot of them, probably most of them, that are like, we want strategy games. But me, I love to see the brutality of like Doom Guy and a Space Marine. So, I'm not gonna lie, I listen to Doom Guy's music while I actually play the original Warhammer as I'm going around with a freaking thunder hammer destroying everything. But
Right.
I'm just so hyped up and ready to see how this is gonna go.
I hope it's gonna
that-
be good.
And Zane, the other game that you were looking forward to, what was it called? The Warhammer one with the
Darktide.
Oh yeah, Riptide.
Riptide? That's
Darktide.
Darktide. Yes.
Darktide.
And
Just a lot
that
of
one's, I
tides.
think, a zombie game. Is it?
No, it's not a zombie. It's
It's
like
not-
a horde shooter where you fight with your
Yeah.
friends against oncoming enemies. That
Isn't it
Like an
first
indie
person
game.
as well?
yeah, it's first person.
Oh,
But
gonna
that
be
one you don't
fun.
play as a space marine. You play as like guardsmen and
Yeah.
regular people, which I think makes it scarier because you don't
Oh,
have the
for sure.
brutality of a space marine. All you've got is your
I know.
crappy las rifles and stuff like that against
Yeah.
all these oncoming people.
oh, it's gonna be so much fun to play those games. It's gonna be great.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm sorry, Zach. I kind of went off topic there a little bit.
No,
But-
no. That's on topic. It's video games.
Okay, great. Then,
And
as
also,
you guys were saying,
yeah, it's great. What were you wanting to talk about, Zane?
What was that? Oh, back to Disney game.
Mm.
I was just watching the trailer for the their Mario
Oh,
Kart.
Yeah, they're basically the Mario Kart ripoff. Yeah,
How can you even see anything though past all these freaking particle effects? Like, it's so bright, it's going
I
blind.
know, bro. That's what I thought too. When I was watching it, I'm like, this is cool. It looks good, But what the heck is going on?
And it's just kind of odd too to see like Captain Jack Sparrow driving around in a go-kart.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Is he like really cartoony?
Yeah, they've got
Yeah, it looks very animated.
yeah. They've got not quite Disney Infinity level cartoonish, but they're more cartoony.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot that Disney Infinity was a thing.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, did you ever buy into
Any
that?
Disney game is awful, I feel like. Unless it's like, well, no, I won't say that. Like, I feel like there's a couple that are good.
And our disc broke for that, by the way. Like, just one day the game didn't want to work. Remember?
Weird.
It just stopped working because it's like, there's a problem with the disc. And I look at the disc and there's like no scratches
It's
or anything
pristine.
on it. And the Wii, like any other game, worked fine. So I'm like, what's the deal? So Disney, you make crappy freaking games like now and then, man. And I'm not gonna lie, that one,
Yeah.
screw you on that one, man. I'm mad about that.
Yeah. But I'm excited for Elden Ring. That's like the main game that I'm excited for. Besides that, Mario Kart, I guess, maybe. And then Wii Sports for sure. Or the Switch Sports, I guess, is what it'd be called now.
I'm gonna probably call it Wii Sports too.
Yeah, no, but Switch Sports, I guess, because it says Nintendo Switch Sports, and I'm like, just call it Switch Sports. Just call it Switch Sports.
It's gonna be a great party game for the guys afterwards.
Yeah, yes, it will be. We'll have to do like a special episode on the podcast for it, where we all do, because they have a battle royale bowling in it.
Ooh.
So it's
it's
bowling but battle royale.
My grandpa will
Interesting
beat you.
concept.
I'm not gonna lie. Like he beats me still to this day on the Wii. Like I've actually, in Missouri, we have a Wii set up for my grandpa, and he plays bowling. Like whenever I ask him, like, "Hey, you want to have some fun? Play some bowling."
Mhm.
This man, to this very day, is better than me, and he beats me. Like I'll have a score of 198 or something like that, and he's got like freaking 289. This man's like up there.
Nice.
So
That's
I don't know
funny.
what it is with Grandpa, but he's got the moves.
He's got the moves. He got the skills for bowling.
Exactly. I'm just like, my grandpa would freaking beat everyone in a Wii tournament if it was ever like bowling.
My grandpa was a pro Wii Sports gamer.
I mean, that's like freaking cool, Grandpa. If you ask
That
me.
is
That's
dope.
awesome.
That's really cool. He goes to tournaments across the globe.
Oh yeah.
Once we've been talking about games for a while, shall we move on to whatever
Sure.
comes next?
Sure, we can do that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
whatever. I think it's about time to wrap it up. The podcast, to be honest, we've been recording for like an hour and 20 minutes. But
Oh, really?
if there's something you wanted to talk about, we can talk about it.
No, I mean you've got the bullet points in front of you. I was just curious.
I mean,
what else?
that was like it. I was gonna just end it on talking about what the future of this podcast is gonna be. That's how I was gonna end it.
Okay, yeah.
But,
That's great. Yeah.
okay, so since we're heading towards the end of the show, thank you all if you have stuck with us. Thank you for watching. It's been awesome. It means a lot to us actually, because we want to just spread the word of God and like His love, Jesus' love to the world. If you're watching this, oh hello, this is hilarious timing. You just joined. But anyways,
Hey,
I'm literally wrapping it up right now, Nathan.
I'm right on time, right?
Yeah. We're just starting.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Okay. What is the purpose of this podcast?
A
And
little bit about our faith, about our love for the Lord, and maybe some games or something else that interests us on the side, just for fun.
exactly.
Outreach to people. You know, if you're listening, great. And if you thought it was interesting or have any questions, it'd be cool. We'd probably answer some later. That'd be nice. You know.
And in the future, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of different people on here. We're going to have a blast. So if you want to stick around for the ride, thank you for watching. And hit that subscribe button. It really supports us on YouTube. And if you're listening, follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. And that'll be great. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night or wherever you live. And it should be good. It should be fun. So we will see you guys on the next episode.